It's a laptop. It's telling me no. I have to fix it. Hold on. Let's turn off my master bus stuff.
What do you have in your master bus? Are you there? Just open it up.
Yeah, my master bus.
What, you just close them down, just show them?
Yeah, so I've got this multi-band compressor, which I don't often use a multi-band compressor, but fab filter. It makes such good stuff. And then this Pultec, which is disabled right now because it's my UAD, but it's just adding a little bit of low end, a little bit of top end.
They're kind of like, oh yeah, Pultec that uses disabled. They're like, oh.
And then, well, it's normally, and then this thing is called Gullfoss, and this thing is really weird. It's only got like 5 things, and it just kind of tames harsh frequencies and accentuates others, and it kind of balances out. I don't know. So obviously you can see it kind of dipping some frequencies here in the middle. So this is without it. Top and bottom. You know, I don't always use that either. And then ozone. This never gets sent to mastering, but this is just, this is just kind of rounding out the end. And then this is just a meter plug-in at the end, just to making sure that it's coming up to master level even when I send things off. Just so someone wouldn't like it just because it's not as loud and exciting. Loud's not really the point. So there's the keyboards. Oh, nice. Yeah, we'll swap over to something else here in just a minute. And so here's the main guitar. Like I said, this was from the acoustic version. Like I said, I did put a...
what kind of guitar was it?
That's a White Falcon, a Gretsch, something like that.
Okay. What amp did you use?
It's a Kemper.
Oh, it is a Kemper?
Yep. So I put that plug-in on it, and the pitch is just waving around a little bit. It's not been edited one bit from when he recorded it. Now, I will say, they didn't want it just to be... So in the first verse, he didn't record this. So this is just a couple chords copied around and things. And one of the things that's cool about pop music is you can do a lot. Here's this piano hook in the instrumental section. Because it doesn't always have to be... So I've got these 4 things that create this section, but what I want to show you is this is from the original hook from the original version, but I needed more sustain. But because it's pop music, like I can just... I need more notes, and so I just copied over an 8th note, and just copy, and faded them together. And it actually is just kind of neat. Kind of further accentuates. It's just, you can... I'm like, why? I was like, I should replay this. And I'm like, well, there's so many things on the 8th note anyway. Why don't I just do that? And so, like I said, I had this this effect for the guitars. More sound that's not musical or chordal. Sounds. This is just a slide guitar. Sam, I've got this one knob pumper just making the 8th note kind of pop out. Here are the strings. Since we've already gone through this stuff, I'm just going to make it inactive when we finish this.
Any questions?
Yeah. Give me something.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you said this already, but how long did it take you to produce this again?
If I weren't trying to please so many people, I would have spent about a week and a half on it. But I mean, I spent close to 2 months with different. I mean, there were 53 versions that were variations of what had come before, not complete redo, but it was sent off a great many times to see where we were. So
all because of the snaps.
Yeah, snaps.
I think it snaps.
So these strings, these were cut live. The 4 players were cut and stacked 5 or 6 times. So then we have these main parts for the strings right here, and then there's these alternate ostinato things over top that were overdone. And so I had like 64 tracks of strings. I'm not going to give that to him like that. So I just bounced it all down, got the blends that I wanted. I considered sending him, there's these main strings here. Or did I? Main strings, high, main strings, cello, mainstream room. So yes, I did do what I said I didn't do. I actually gave him a little bit of control over, again, I'm just thinking, what things might he want to adjust? Oh, he thinks there's too many low strings in this blend, so I'm going to print the cellos separately than the violins. I'm going to print the room, or there's too much room mics in the cello sound, so I put those on a different track.
So you had 4 takes of the strings?
There were probably 6 takes of the main part.
So how did you pan those? Could you explain so they know?
This was done, I didn't so much want to hear the violins over here and the violas right here, and the cellos and the basses. So I did more of a stereo treatment of the strings. And the way I would do that is, they were set up like that in the room, violin 1, violin 2, viola, cello. And so the first pass, I panned them hard, violin 1 over here, cello way over here, and then the room mics left and right. And then the second pass, I just swapped those panning exactly. And then the third pass, I just took the whole thing and I panned the whole thing like over here on this side. Then the fourth pass, I took the exact same panning and panned it over here. I just did something smart, and I kept the stereo image wider, but I've done some symphonic stuff where it's piano, and I really did pan it like the orchestra would be. But in this case, I did it like that. Yeah. And so here's Tasha's vocal. Like I said, it's just the original one. I won't say too much about what I did to her because I don't know much about what.
Lift up my head, look me in the eyes and tell me I am yours and you are mine, and I am safe here.
So, like I said, there's 2 tracks, and this is one instance where I always give the mixer the cleanest version of a vocal possible. I am never adding compression or EQ to what I send him. I'll send him what I had on the tracks, but never printed. He should be way better at it. If he's any mixer worth his note, he ought to be better at mixing a vocal than I am. He might like what I did and just add to it, but that's the real thing. And so these 2 tracks are her vocal, and you can see they're the exact same plugins. The EQs are exactly the same, but you get into these compressors, and they are set slightly different. So one is set to compress very heavily, and the other one's set lightly. So I want the dynamics to cut through, but I love the way compressors widen out a vocal and make it sound thicker. So I'll tuck the compressed version up, and it widens it out and makes it thicker. And these multi-band compressors and then it's all being fed into this channel, which is doing things to both of those tracks. It's nothing really crazy, so let me show you these other background vocals real quick.
Did Tasha cut the back? Background?
Yeah, when you've got her,
Get the talent.
you don't cut anybody else. So.
Safe here.
So those are just stacks of the chorus to emphasize the actual melody.
Say,
Let me show you that.
loved, I am safe here. Let down my guard, fall in your arms and stay here. I'm not gonna move.
And you've got just this other little harmony that happens here.
I'm safe, safe.
And then I took her lead vocal and I pumped it through a vocoder.
I'm not gonna move, 'cause when I'm with you, I'm safe. Though I am broken, I know that I am safe. So safe. Hey.
And there you have it.
Any questions?
Everything
On
on
that
this
track?
track.
Yeah, Drew. You listen to the top? Yeah. Now you've talked about it.
Now that I've talked
Put it all
about it.
together.
Or you want to turn this back down? You can turn it back
Yeah, I
up.
can do it here if you need to. Keep yours hot.
And then I've got a horn session I'm going to open up and show you how I interact with another producer.
Catch my breath, pressed on is red.
Sorry about that, guys.
Catch my breath, pressed on every side. When all
No snaps.
I want is rest from birth.